Hi there, I'm Zoot Java. Today I'd like to talk about a recommended contact tracing app. Justin Trudeau says that the federal government will soon be strongly recommending that Canadians download a to be determined monitoring and exposure notification application. This has been discussed for a while now by different legislators in the wake of this pandemic. It's being brought up as a need or desire to have people, even if it's on a voluntary basis, that they download tracing apps so that if you come into contact with someone who has tested positive for the virus, that you could be notified and put in quarantine possibly. Or if you yourself test positive, then all your travels, whereabouts, etc. can then be notifying the government as to where you've been, where to find you, all in the name of stopping the spread of the virus. Some countries have already done this, but don't necessarily have the same type of civil liberties that are supposed to be in Canada. A problem arises in that there has been absolutely no assurances as to the security of the gathering and or sharing of this data. For example, I believe it was in 2018 that it became known that Statistics Canada was forcing banks and financial institutions to release the personal transaction data of 500,000 people without their knowledge or consent. Everything from bill payments to cash withdrawals, from ATMs to credit card payments, e-transfers, even between family members, and account balances. Banks were also not allowed to inform people that StatsCan was prying into their private financial records. Statistics Canada stated that they had the legal authority to do this even without informing Canadians or asking their consent. This was to build a personal information data bank to analyze things such as consumer trends and spending habits. House Leader Candace Bergen stated at that time that with a long history of government privacy breaches, Canadians are rightly worried, and she asked Trudeau, why are the Liberals collecting the personal data of Canadians without telling them? Trudeau said his government would ensure that all personal information would be protected and the anonymized data will be used for statistical purposes only. My take on this? Well, to start with, I urge everyone, and I mean everyone, to not, I repeat, not get sucked into this and download this tracing application. The privacy of Canadians regarding this government is absolutely disgusting. I hate to admit it, but I simply have zero faith with this government regarding anything at all to do with private information of mine. I have no faith or respect for Justin Trudeau, and I don't trust him as far as I can throw a bus. They want to track everybody to see if they come into contact with anybody who has tested positive for the virus. They will then track where everyone has gone from there to see everyone that they have come into contact with. As much as they will tell you that I'm being an alarmist, don't kid yourself. Once they track you like this, don't be surprised to find yourself getting your door pounded on, and they'll ask you to go with them, and if you refuse, they'll drag you away, kicking and screaming if they must. Don't think for a minute that they'll say to you, we'd like to just ask you a few questions. Then they ask you to go with them, and you refuse, and they say, oh, okay, bye now, and they'll leave. They won't leave you. You'll go with them whether you like it or not. You'll be forcibly quarantined as long as they see fit. Trudeau is salivating at this because he is so power hungry. He's seen already how people are at each other's throats right now by weaponizing this virus. We've had problems with people having protests about everything being locked down. People have been physically assaulted because of their beliefs on this. As I said before, it all stems on your personal situation. If you're among the lucky ones who are at home getting paid, then you can be sanctimonious and look down your nose at other people who have lost jobs, lost businesses that they worked so hard for because they want this to end. This is the attitude that Trudeau and his merry band of idiots love seeing among everyone. Don't let anyone hand you the argument that if you don't download this app, that you don't care about anybody and you want to kill grandma and, oh, think of the children. Tell them to take it up with their prime minister and the inept way that they handled this pandemic. Planes were coming into this country with people getting a minimal amount of testing, even if and when they were flying in from where this all originated from. If you know what I mean. Still allowing people to walk across the border, not at official border crossings. This doesn't sound at all like responsible behavior to attempt to control a worldwide virus that they have no trouble telling all the tax-paying citizens that they're going to be expected to allow this irresponsible collection of clowns to monitor their whereabouts at all time and to track where they've been. Something else to worry about is not just the misuse of this data, but the chance that it could be collected incorrectly, have it hacked by someone for whatever reason, and have it used to change around the information collected. You could find yourself being dragged off by the government's goon squad, and it would be the result of misinformation that had been tampered with. Now, these things are a stretch, and people would say, yeah, what are the chances of that happening? Well, if you don't download this invasion of privacy, the chances are zero. If you download it, the chance is there. So, don't download it, and don't let anyone make you feel guilty for not doing so. This government is a disgrace and is not to be trusted. They have not shown that they can be trusted and are never doing anything with the thoughts of Canadian citizens first. It is for their own greedy lust for power. Now, for the part that you've all been waiting for, my bad joke. I found that the best way to prove that crime doesn't pay is to let the government run it. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps me out. Click the bell for notifications of more of my words of wisdom. Share my content on all your social media because I get censored by all the usual suspects. Till later, have a Java on Zoot.